approval of warrants and claims.
I move that we approve the warrants and claims for this meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Number 4, approval of the minutes of the last meeting, October 5th, 2015.
I move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Number 5, discussion and possible action regarding the following road crossings. Mid-States, Crescent, and Select Energy. Here they are. Oh, no, that's blank.
Here you go. Oh, hold on. There's none for Eagles.
Aye.
I got 4 mid-states and 2 select interstates. Motion approved. Is that right? Huh?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And D2 has 1 for Crescent, and I make the motion that we approve it.
I'll second that also.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's right, sir.
Thank you.
Done?
Yep.
All right. Number 6, discussion only with J.R. Uhl, Pioneer OSP Engineer, Sales Project Coordinator about the county phone system and how the future technology will affect it. You're up, Mr. Pioneer.
I'm JR, and basically what we want to do is just kind of have an opportunity to give you guys an idea that the telecom industry is making some major changes in 2020. Supposedly in 2020, with the government and everything, all these analog lines are going to go away. Everything's going to go digital. Now, right now, I know the courthouse is running on what they call a Centrex system. Centrex or Plexar, whichever way Bell calls it. And those contracts are going to start dwindling down. They were 5-year to 3-year to 1-year contracts, and I think they kind of squeezed everything down to the maximum they'll do is 36 months, and then when that contract's up, they're not going to do anything but month to month or 1-year contracts. It will go away. Right now today, I know you guys had just moved the election board from here to the professional building. Okay, we have a fiber optic in there that you can do a point-to-point from here over there and tie them all the way back to here. You can do and Chuck and Kent will be giving you guys a little history about portability. We're doing several projects where we're putting a phone system in, but it's a VoIP over the internet, and you can have an extension. If you got a DSL circuit at your house, you can have an extension set at your house and be tied all the way back to here. Anywhere you've got a building, you can tie it back to here. You can tie it back for the network, you can tie it back for the phone switch. I do the designs and engineering as far as all the fiber stuff that goes in. And we have a lot of fiber. I was just explaining to him, we actually feed the professional builder. We feed Share Medical. We have just finished putting fiber into the building out here where Integris just moved into. It goes all the way to Freedom. We're out here in the industrial park area, we're in the prison. We just bought a piece of property from Hample Oil out there. We're building a new cross connect out there that once I finish this cross connect, if a circuit goes down, it flips and comes in from another direction. I was gonna be ring protected, so anytime your internet goes, if it gets cut and say Enid, it flips and comes back the other way, so it don't go down. Only piece of it that would go down is what we call the last leg. So from the building to out to the street where it actually comes in, if that got cut on the grounds, then you'd be dead till that was fixed. But other than that, we're ring protected all the way around the state. We backhaul all of, we got 150 meg in Share Medical. We run all of the Suddenlink. We're getting ready to bring in 2 more 10 gig circuits for Suddenlink, and we backhaul all their traffic. So we're kind of pretty stable, but we just kind of want to let you guys know what the future is bringing, because when your contract runs out, you're going to be looking for a provider. And if it's something you need to start looking at, it takes a while to go through all that paperwork to figure out what you got, where it's at. And I'll let Chuck and Kent, I'll let Kent give you a little deal first, because we already do all your network.
Is this mainly, it's not for individuals, this is mainly for businesses?
Commercial accounts right now, there's a program in the making that if they kick it off next year, it's called ACAM. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but what it is the Obama administration and the government has stepped in and says, now you're going to, if you were on Pioneer's Exchange, I'm going to have to provide you up to 20 megs of internet if you're 10 miles out. And so starting next year, when they release all of this, Pioneer has already tripled our orders for fiber. I have 4 construction yards that we're getting ready to have to lease more land to store fiber and conduit in, because we're going to be forced into putting 450 miles of fiber in a month for the next 5 to 10 years. Not just us, that's every telco. Now, this ACAM, when it pops up, we can maintain our 76 towns, or we can maintain whatever towns we're in, because like right now, this is what we call an off-net town, because we don't own Alva, it's a Southwestern Bell Elect. When this ACAM comes in, Bell may decide to say, okay, Alva, we're going to put you in the lottery pool. That means Bell don't want to do anything no more. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that here, but Pioneer could go to one of our exchanges and say, well, it's not worth us to take care of, so we're going to put it in the lottery and somebody will pick it up. The problem with it is when they pick it up, you either buy the old plant that's here, or you overbuild. Most of them will buy. All they're doing is inheriting the last 30 or 40 years of headaches that's been built over those years, and we all have them. Our towns has got some lousy copper in it. We're overbuilding most of our exchanges to do away with copper. We're taking fiber to the home on the biggest part of our exchanges, and the reason for it is you're going to be unlimited. You know, you guys seen where, excuse me, DirecTV sold to AT&T. Well, everybody thought that was a really great deal. Well, it might have been. Well, now then, DirecTV and AT&T is not really getting along, and they're coming in saying, you know, we're going to shut off your 4, 5, and 9 because we don't want to deal with this. And so now, and if you don't have their U-verse, you don't have their TV. And if you take their U-verse, they're going to try to bundle this stuff. You're going to see a lot of people jumping off on Dish. Those that are out in the country will probably be going to Dish because they don't want to fight with the Direct and the AT&Ts.
What do we need to do at the courthouse here to prepare for what you're saying?
Well, you guys are really ahead of the game, to be honest.
All right.
And you remember when y'all passed the agreement that you contracted out to Pioneer to come in and rewire, and we brought the fiber in, and you're on the network maintenance?
Neither one of these two guys were here, but I do.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
Well, we came in and we made a pitch about what we could do, and I really think we've lived up to everything that we said we could do. Now, gonna have flaws here and there and ups and downs. The courthouse was in dire need of a complete networking. Because that's the way the future's going. Everything's gonna be nothing but high speed. So when we made the contract with them, we put in the switches. So when they have a problem, if Grant calls, usually Grant's the one we talk to. When Grant calls, he says, hey, I got a problem. A truck rolls, or somebody shows up ASAP, and you actually get these cards, which I'm gonna leave this one here, and these guys will leave you one. Those are better than baseball trading cards, because they have our desk number and our cell number on it. And you may get our voicemail, but we will call those back. Most people don't. So, when we did the network management system, we put everybody on upgrade. So your switches and stuff is setting here that if your contract with Southwestern Bell and your Centrex, say it comes due January, Chuck can evaluate everything, do the sidewalk. We kind of forgot to fill him in that when he got here, he was ready to look at what it's going to take to recable everything. Well, now he knows it's all recabled. So basically, he does a sidewalk of what phones you need. We send it in, and they evaluate that and send it back, and we can do a VoIP. You can tie the election board back on.
Now, can we tie our sheds on then?
It's going to really depend on where your sheds are.
Well, I mean, my shed, District 1, is just right out there at the northeast corner out.
Just a mile down the street, half a mile down the street.
And I tried to get,
Towards Hempel.
I tried to get Pioneer to come out and take over our computer network, but we couldn't.
Oh, dude, we can do all that now. You're talking about, see, I'm getting ready to build fiber. The cell site that's sitting right over here, we're gonna be coming from that cell site. We're gonna build fiber from there out to Hempels. And then Hempels, I have a fiber that goes all the way out to the industrial park.
See,
and gets to
I'm
Holland.
right here at Noble Street, which is 4 blocks.
Down there where the fuel truck tanks and all that stuff.
If you guys look at wanna do the point-to-point, you can be connected back to the computer system here. And if you do a VoIP, you can be all connected back to the VoIP.
Now, what's that mean?
Voice over internet protocol. And that's the way the industry is going.
That's phone service,
Mhm.
over internet?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's not gonna be but a couple of years before, say, I'm not sure, say you live 10 miles out of the country.
12, but anyway.
That phone that you have out there will eventually go wireless, voice over IP.
I live right west of that tower out here I live on the corner, right?
1464.
But you're on camera, and I'm pretty sure there's the public's. Here's my question. If we're in the Southwestern Bell area, you're coming in here and competing with Southwestern Bell right now, right? Okay, I'm on Bell out there. I'd love to be off. You went right by my house with that fiber optic, although you were on the other side of the road, but you crossed the highway right there.
Who do you carry your cell phone with?
Pioneer.
Okay. And I'm not sure which towers they're gonna do this on, because I know enough that goes on in Pioneer that I can be dangerous, okay? And a lot of people wouldn't tell you this, but I tell everybody everything. We're gonna be deploying what we call fixed LTE. Your cell phone, if you're with Pioneer, you can port your home number from Bell to Pioneer Cellular. Now they have a little device that sits in your house. It's just a box like a wireless router. That number's inside that box. There's 2 antennas on it. When you set it in your house, the first antenna picks up the signal from the tower and brings in your phone number, and it brings in your internet. The second antenna is your wireless for inside your house. When you set that box down, you plug it into a phone jack in the wall. When they call that number, it rings all the phones in your house because it has its own little ring generator in it. Only difference is when you make a phone call out of it, you got to dial the number and then hit the pound key, just like a cell phone, because that pound key says send that call out.
Okay, now my next question is, and all this is personal, but,
It fits in a commercial account too, believe me.
well, I mean, we have a bull sale in March, and we had a hard time right out there getting a fast enough internet to have that sale over the internet at the
Doc
time.
Pollard experienced the exact same thing.
Do what?
Doc
Oh,
Pollard, when
okay.
he did his bull sales, he experienced the same
Okay,
thing.
come March, can we get hooked up by March to do something like, we had to bring in and pay an internet service just for that
Is it a sale barn or,
It's just gonna be, it's just in a building and it's essentially over the internet. I mean, we have a live auction there, but it's, I mean, we sold bulls in California and Montana.
well, see,
I
Doc
mean-
Pollard in his barn at Wacomas, he had the same issue. What he ended up doing was he went and got a MiFi, what they call a MiFi, which is just wireless internet access. The biggest problem with it is it has let's just say it's got so much bandwidth for $200. When you go past that bandwidth, you pay so much per meg overage. Well, when you're thinking about selling the amount of livestock, if you had a $400 or $500 internet bill, it's worth it to be able to sell that versus by the time you're ready to hit the gavel saying sold, the internet goes down and the guy on the other end's like, well, wait a minute, who owns this? And that's what you're facing.
Well, I mean, that's what we did. We bought it for one day last year.
Who'd you get that from?
Our auctioneer or the guys, I don't remember now, who it was. I mean, we had a company come in and conducted the sale. I mean,
They handled everything then.
Yes.
It's turnkey. The only thing I can say is we have fiber running out that way, so we run all the way to Freedom.
right.
The only thing that I would say is that's what we call a specialty item that we'd actually have to look at and see how they would, if there's enough fiber out there that they can go in and set it up, turn it on, and say this is what's gonna cost you to install it, turn it on, run it for 24 hours or whatever, shut it off, same thing as this guy here. Biggest difference is when we put it on the fiber, we're unlimited on bandwidth and speed. We don't, it's kind of like I always tell people, it's just money.
Well, I guess my question is that fiber is right there. Can we run it to our house and have it there all the time?
I have actually got ranchers that has ordered up a 2 meg internet access. Now, it's not cheap. A 2 meg internet access, because we're a co-op and we're regulated by the Corporation Commission in the state, that we have to have, they make us charge every one of our customers on a fee of anywhere from $1,400 to $1,900 that you pay up front that the government gets. We don't get a dime of that. And it goes into that pool so that the telcos like us can come back out and build. So they divide that money up after a certain length of time. It's kind of like grant money, but you don't have to pay it back. And so that fee makes it kind of high. And once you get it in there, 2 meg runs anywhere from 400 to 600, depending on what size, what bandwidth. But it's symmetrical, which means if that auctioneer is sitting there and he's videoing and it's a live auction, then it's all going upload. He can actually be downloading all the transactions. So if this guy buys it, he slaps his credit card on the other end, when he hits sold, you've got payment coming back and they pass each other the pipe and they don't slow down. That bandwidth can grow to unlimited. So, and two, one of the biggest things that you'll see is when you have an auction, if you have enough bandwidth and you set up a remote wireless antenna and you advertise free Wi-Fi, how many times do you travel across country, the first place you look for is free Wi-Fi, so you check an email. I go to McDonald's or Panera Bread or Brahms or someplace and I can go in and eat, sit there and use their Wi-Fi. That's the largest drawing card for seniors that travel in fifth wheels. I said all my aunt and uncles up across country just said, this is where you go and you check it and here's how you do it. You don't have to buy that stuff. But it's a drawing card.
Okay, so but I guess what you're telling me, probably we're looking at the same scenario this year. What we actually have at our house for internet is Central National Bank has a deal, but we couldn't, we tried putting up a,
Booster and everything.
we hit it at our house, okay? But we couldn't get enough that day for the sale and to do that.
Now, you see, we backhaul his traffic too, but the problem he has is he's got, and there's nothing against what he's doing, he's called what they call a WISP. He's selling internet access. He has say a 5 or 10 meg circuit from us that goes in there, but he's sharing that between everybody. That's what you get into with an AT&T modem or you get into with a cable modem. It's called shared network, right? We're going to give you 50 meg of internet, but what they don't tell you is certain times of the day, when the kids get home from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, forget it, you don't even wanna mess with your internet, because they're all surfing and texting and doing all this stuff. So they're sharing that bandwidth, so early in the morning, late in the evening, you've got the fastest internet on the block. But you don't know that, and on a DSL circuit from AT&T, it's a 1.5 meg, it's dedicated. You don't share it, but you get 1 meg down, and you may get, what, 300K or 750K up. Download speed is good if you're looking at Netflix, but if you're trying to bank online, or you're trying to do transactions, the upload speed is what you're after, and that's where we hang all of you, okay?
Well, I mean, they came out there and they said they'd have to get in the bucket truck and hold that antenna up there, get it higher than what we had to get enough for us, and that's why we just paid that one time, but I was curious.
The company that did that actually bought a bulk time and microwaved it in. Now, microwave versus antenna is a whole different story.
Okay.
It works a lot different. You can actually get only problem with it is if the wind blows this right and the antenna moves, it's like anything else, it's by line of sight. But microwave has a 15 to 25 degree forgiveness. Antenna has, you better be right on, because when it moves, you're down.
Well, I was just curious, since that line was right there, I mean, we're hunting something that can be permanent as.
Well, what I need you to do is just give me before we leave today or something, I'll get somebody to contact you. I'll have Andrew, or I didn't bring Andrew with us today. I don't like to bring a whole team.
Well,
It's overwhelming.
like I said, this deal is personal. I mean, I think the courthouse is set up.
Well,
It sounds like.
Didn't you say we would need to make some changes to our phones?
Now,
the phone system?
when you get ready, I'm not sure, I think she said that your Centrex contract or your Plexar, whichever, I don't know what Bill's calling it now, was due,
It's a 5-year contract and we signed it 12/12/12. So in 17,
So you've got about
right?
a year,
Yeah.
2.
2 years.
yeah. And
Shouldn't have any trouble till 2 years, right?
not gonna get us to line.
Come
Ain't
on.
gonna get us to line on that one. I was a rep with Bell for 20 years before I sold my company to Pioneer, and we had very little problems, but when we did have trouble, you just didn't have bodies you could get a hold of and talk to. Not bad mouthing Bell, but the worst thing that they've ever done is they've gotten rid of a lot of their personal contact people. If you try to find a sales rep now to come talk to you, they'll send a third-party salesman. They may come out of Dallas, they may come out of Shreveport, Louisiana. They just don't have a lot of reps anymore. Their sales force, they've kind of dwindled down. We've got our sales force dwindled, but we have live bodies. We have a 24-hour day answering system that live bodies answers. But yes, there are some changes that's got to take place here to make it work. And before we talk about, I'll let these guys talk about that, I just want you to know, your location can be a point-to-point back to the courthouse, no problem.
My shed's in Freedom.
That's probably not a problem, because we're getting ready to go right past the one you got there for a cell-sided.
I mean-
West side of Winoka.
See, I can bring every one of those point-to-point back here. Now, here's the other thing, keep in mind. These guys, he handles the network side, he handles the communication side, and I got another guy that handles the circuit side, another guy that handles the camera side. We can actually put video cameras out there that you can set at home or off your cell phone or whatever, you can pull up and you can monitor from there. They can monitor them from here, whoever you want to allow to have access to that IP. It's scary what we can do. I really get upset with myself for not staying as close in contact, because if I'd been involved with it when I knew you were moving over to the professional building, I could have made your life so much simpler.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we asked over there, and they said the contract hadn't been made to go over there, what we understood for fiber optics.
Well,
But,
see, we don't-
I thought that's kind of obvious, you can't go there.
Well, I put fiber in that building at the same time I put fiber in down here. I've got fiber runs all the way down this alley, comes all the way behind every one of those commercial accounts, goes all the way up to the tower, comes from this corner behind the parts dealer, goes all the way to the school. We got fiber ring built all over here, and I just built it to all the schools. We have it in the college,
Star number you told me, yeah.
we just finished doing Star Lumber.
Well, I like it, the fact you're an Oklahoma company.
How does this won't
Where you're stuck is E911. If Bell forfeits Alva, Pioneer can come in and take it over, but until they actually just drop it, you will be stuck. Now, here's the, Tologa Courthouse. We do the same thing at Tologa Courthouse and even more than what we're doing here. When they built that courthouse, these guys was involved with from ground zero all the way up. I just finished going in there and putting a fiber optic circuit in because they want to be able to have, and we put it in their safe room, and then we extended it up to the rest of the courthouse, but it's in their safe room so that E911 has their own circuits. But if Bell goes down, or if whoever the primary carrier is goes down, my circuit's gonna be sitting there and I'm ring protected. So if they get cut, they're not ring protected. We are. But we can't carry your 911 traffic until Bell bows out.
Because of those trunk lines.
Because of the trunk lines and because of the whole way they've done this.
Okay.
So you're
But
pretty
that
well.
would be if you guys would take over this, that would be a pretty simplistic deal, or is that a complicated deal to get those changed?
The channels, what happens is you port or release those channels between telcos. And keep in mind that we're, let's just take like your rural water district. Those lines goes out everywhere and they start off and go here. Well, this pipe over here connects to ABC company over here and this one's another company over here. We all have to pass our circuits back and forth to get places. We have what we call pop sites. When we finish Alva, we have two pop sites, one right across from the college and this one over here. Then this pop site is connected to Freedom, Freedom's connected to Moreland, Moreland's connected to Woodward, Woodward's connected to Sealing, and then it goes on down to Weatherford, Clinton, Oklahoma City, El Reno.
But you are connected to AT&T's lines, right? Or are you?
We are connected, we can back all their traffic from here and pass it off at El Reno. They have a cross-connected El Reno. Now there's fixing to be a huge, major change in the cross-connect. There's an outfit in Oklahoma City that's called, can't think of the first name, something 77. You remember the old AT&T manufacturing plant that was there in Oklahoma City? That now is going to be one of the largest in the nation telco interconnect cross connect. We're building fiber into there, AT&T's into there, Dobson's into there, Cox Communications into there, Level 3, Google, all the major players is all coming into there. And right inside that building it's got its own power plant. And it has a secondary power plant, but it is designed that when we decide to haul your traffic from here to Chicago, we'll hit that building, and then all it is switches passing data back and forth in there.
It goes to whoever is servicing.
There's one in Tulsa, one in Houston, this is Oklahoma City, and there's multiple.
So that, when that's complete, in other words, then the trunk line switch would be a simple deal.
Yep. And when the portability is all coming into play 100%, I believe, and I haven't seen this or read it, but this is just discussions that some of us in the engineering department has had. Everything that's out there will be ported from back and forth. If you don't want to be on Bell, you can be on here if you want to.
When it's all over.
In Alva, if we didn't build the fiber in here, we could still haul circuits in, but we would have to haul circuits through AT&T. We elected not to haul them because we wanted to have full control and monitor and do our own thing. So now we haul their circuits for them.
Well, are landlines like in 2020, are they just gonna be a thing of the past?
What Bell's going to in the Bell territory, in 1976, I toured a plant in Arlington, Texas. They were demoing and experimenting. They'd taken a certain housing addition, they put 4 little round antennas on about every third pole down an alley. And then on the back of the house, they had the microwave little antennas. When I worked for GTE, they were experimenting with that. Well, we toured that plant. At the end of the experiment, they said, scrap it, it'll never work. Today, that's what Bell's doing in the larger communities like Chicago, New York, and those places. They're doing wireless. We had a lady that moved from Minnesota to Newcastle. She goes to the office, orders up a line. Our tech goes out there and he goes to do a test before he hooks up the line, and there's dial tone on it. He's like, there's no way dial tone can be. So he goes outside, unhooks all of our cable, tests it again, there's dial tone on it. So he was like scratching his head, so I got a call and he asked me, he said, why would you think there's dial tone on this? We're just friends and that's it. I said, is there a little black box sitting in the house plugged into the wall? So he goes in and he asked me, he said, do you have a little black box that you plugged into the wall when you got here? And she said, yeah, that's my telephone number. What it is, it's a cellular wireless, so when she had that number they assigned to him, when she moved here, she could plug it in and she runs on Verizon and we carry Verizon's traffic. So it was blowing his mind because he had dial tone and he knew there's no way because he's never seen one of these. And the only reason I know about him is I spend 90% of my time reading stupid magazines and blogs on electronics, so.
Well, this leads to another question. Are those gonna be considered a landline or a cell phone?
They will be considered 4G fixed LTE cellular side.
A what?
Be a 4G fixed LTE be cellular side.
So in other words, then our 911 deal is gonna take another huge hit from losing all the landlines.
That's coming, and there's markets out there that people are gonna be coming in, and just a word to the wise, because I have worked for different phone companies, do not ever port your number to a company that's not gonna take you off of Southwestern Bell, because they're the CLEC in this town, they own the copper. Arapahoe Courthouse right now is about ready to shoot everybody in there. They all want to die and just don't ever want to come back to work because what they did was they let a company come in, a guy come in and say, I can save you so much money a month. And they was excited, so they ported their numbers. They ported their numbers, but there was not another provider in the community that would overbuild and bring you, like we have a fiber in here, if you ported your numbers to us, you go away from Bell. You never call Bell again. You're done. What they did was ported it, and when they ported it, they released those lines to the company in Minnesota, and all they do is send you a bill, and if you have problems, you call them, they call Bell, and the same truck rolls, and you're still using the same old lines. You never want to do that. If we wasn't able to take you from the copper and put you on our fiber, I'd tell you in a heartbeat. When they bought my companies, they bought me because of the CLEC. That's what I did. And I would never report to anybody that didn't overbuild.
Well, you're really complicated.
They call
The
it
basic
motion.
our internet system we have in the building now is with you.
Mm-hmm.
If we went to a phone service, if it just goes to that same internet system, is that
Just
right?
piggyback back on that same circuit you have.
And that's kind of where I come into play. I'm the phone system guy. Like the court clerk up here, that ESI, I put that in. The district attorney's office, the old Nortell's in there, I put that one in as well. So I do some of those. And it was a pleasant thing to find out that the courthouse is already networked together, because that makes your life in the future much simpler. JR's talking about fixed 4G LTE to the home. What I'm going to tell you about, the other alternative there is what's called SIP, Session Internet Protocol. When you have that circuit that comes in from Pioneer Telephone, we can offer you what's called SIP dial tone or SIP phones. And that is internet-based dial tone. Pioneer just spent like $2.5 million to put in these new central office switches in all of our exchanges that are IP based. So we can turn around and offer IP dial tone, and that goes along with that fiber as well. You send all that out over that data stream, and then you have a device that breaks it out at the end. In the phone system side of things, it can be a phone system that breaks it out, or you can do what's called hosted. Hosted is the new thing that's coming. I'm thinking, my boss and I think 5 to 7 years, I won't be coming in and putting that box on the wall anymore. Why would a manufacturer a box when they can have a central office sitting in Dallas and provide all that over your internet pipe? So all they're providing you is with the phone. And so that's kind of the next thing that's coming along is the hosted phone system, so that you can have the entire courthouse on one phone system. You don't have to have all those Centrex features to transfer, dial star, blah, 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 to transfer through AT&T. You simply have a hosted phone system from a manufacturer, ESI, ShoreTel, places like that, Pioneer, and you're able to put everybody on one phone system, and then you've got a yard in Freedom, and as long as you have an internet connection in Freedom, we can put phones that are in Freedom, and you have one in Winoka, as long as you have an internet connection in Winoka, we can put phones in Winoka. And so when a call comes in, maybe to this office here, she can turn around and transfer it to Freedom or transfer it to Winoka off that internet-based phone system.
Well, I think we already have Pioneer Internet at our shed,
Yeah.
you know,
Now,
but,
Yeah.
but kind of my question is though, how long a time frame is it? Just at my house, for example, I'm on Bell, Pioneer's running right by there. When do I get to have a choice?
The,
JR?
the internet side for fiber to your house, that's just,
Is now.
is now,
If
where
I
our
wanna
guy
put
would have
a
to
bit-
look and see what it would cost to do the size of circuit, and then we'd have to look and see what it would take to construct a fiber from there up to the house or up to the location.
Yep.
That's now. But
And-
now
I think
Of
most
course,
of
you
your,
tell me though that these landlines are gonna be obsolete
They're-
anyway, so it's
Yeah.
not gonna really matter. When this all comes into play, then you're gonna have a choice.
yeah,
That's why I said,
and
what you're talking about residential,
Residential.
it's gonna affect the commercial side also.
yeah, but basically for the residential side, it'll probably be, most of it'll be what they call the voice over LTE. And that's what JR was talking about, where you have a MiFi or a unit
Yeah.
sitting there, you plug it into one of your home phone jacks, and that provides your dial tone. That's a wireless LTE based product. The SIP-based product is more of a business base, but I think in town, like in Winoka, Pioneer offers internet with no home phone anymore. So naked DSL, whatever you want to call it, but they will be able to turn around with the new soft switches that we put in and offer SIP dial tone to the home over that DSL circuit.
Yeah.
So in the future, yeah, I'm not sure exactly when that'll happen, but at some point in the future, everything is going to go to an internet-based dial tone.
And you guys are aware of what I'm talking about, these phone tariffs
Mm-hmm.
for here.
What you're
That's
concerned
correct.
with, if I'm reading into this, is the E911 is a revenue-based in other words, you generate revenues off of that, you maintain it, but you also make money.
No,
Make money, we're not making-
Well, you're making enough to where it pays itself out.
no.
You still have to subside it?
Oh, about $500,000 a year. So, anyway, yeah, wow, it's
About
right.
like smelling that coffee in that cup,
Yeah.
but there's no coffee in it.
Well, when I finish this, hang on to it, because there ain't gonna be no more when I come back. Okay. The 911, financing of it
That's
is all
that's statewide.
Yes.
That ain't just here.
Yeah, I mean, well, the big municipalities, there's enough population there and enough phones within that area
To cover
that it, you know, a
So
lot
y'all
of
been
things.
told by the state yet that they're not gonna pay the utility bills or anything to y'all?
Not that-
Oh, yeah, that's coming, that's already starting to happen.
I don't know where we get the utility bills from the state.
Right.
We don't.
See,
I'll make sure I
like
put one there.
Ellis County and Arapahoe and them, they were billing the state portions, like a percentage of the electric bill. And they've been told this year that, no, we ain't paying that. That's a courthouse, you gotta furnish it now, we don't have any money, so we're not paying it. Kinda like you have all the money and you don't.
Yeah, it may be, that could be the election board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a state and those state deals.
Court clerk,
Court
district attorney, and election board usually.
If you see that happening on the utility side and the rent side and all that stuff that's going away, get ready, because what they're gonna end up doing is they're gonna say, now, you got a 50 or 100 meg internet access service, we're gonna hop onto that, because it's all firewall protected and everybody can share it, nobody can see anybody's stuff. And why they don't do that now, I don't understand, because they're paying part of that, they're paying more for half of what they're getting if they were on fiber. If they were on fiber, they'd be getting 2 or 3 times the speed for what they're paying. So it's changing.
Basically, what we're trying to do is go around to the courthouses that we service with internet and let you guys know, these are the things that are gonna happen. So, you know, in today or in 6 months, if you decide, you know what, we wanted to put the entire courthouse on a phone system, we'd like to get away from AT&T, we can do that for you. We can bring in your dial tone on that internet service via SIP trunks. We can do a hosted phone system, or we can do what's called an internet-based phone system, which uses or not internet-based, network-based, which uses your internal network infrastructure that you already have in place, instead of having to run phone cables to every phone. So every office can be tied together. So, in a matter of a few months, we could have you completely off AT&T if that was something that you were
With the
interested in doing.
exception of E911.
With the exception of
Yeah, we don't
911.
handle it, because that's that state deal.
But all your main numbers, your court clerk number, your district attorney, all your numbers could simply port to a SIP trunk provider, and then we can bring those dial tones in via SIP to a phone system that would cover not only the courthouse, but also your barn, your place in Freedom, and your place in Winoka.
Now, here's what will surprise you. And this will throw work on these guys, and I don't mind doing that at all. I would recommend that Chuck does an evaluation of what you got. Look at what it would cost if you did it today. Because what he's gonna look at will carry over. The price may change within a year. But I think you'll be surprised that,
JR's gonna break all your stuff.
Yes, get over here. You'll be surprised that even if you had to pay out the ending of your contract with AT&T for a year, you'll find out the difference in what you're paying for the new service will offset the cost of that one, and you really won't, you'll only be paying the deal out, but you'll regain it back in the next 12 months.
A lot of times, the thing that we find, we sell the ESI hosted, which is the same manufacturer that we have up in the court clerk's office. We now sell their hosted product, and they provide the SIP trunks. And their SIP trunks also come with unlimited long distance in the US, Canada, and Mexico. So you got no more long distance bills. Again, courthouse wide. Your phone system is a per month thing. So you have a small, I say small, it'll be a few $1,000s, but compared to buying a phone system that would go in and cover the entire courthouse, down in Arapahoe, I think it was 100 and, how many phones? About 100 phones. Their upfront cost, labor-wise, was about $8,500. The phones, they simply paid. Come to find out, their expense for the entire courthouse and the health department in Clinton and their election boards in Clinton, and they had another health department in Weatherford. All those was about 100 phones total. Well, their monthly expense was about $5,700. That included their SIP trunks and their all brand new phones. Well, by the time you looked at what they were paying for dial tone every month and long distance, they were getting all new phones and unlimited long distance and everything for about $700 more a month. So, but the reason they were looking at that is because at the end of this year, their contract with that company JR was telling you about expires, and their local loop costs are going to quadruple. So it's going to go from $20 a line to $80 a line. And so then they are going to be thousands less than what they're paying now.
I have a question for you. Now that they have that we're doing a network managed deal, can the network managed contract and ESI be put on the same type of contract where it's an upgrade to the system with the phones included? If you do that, they don't have to actually worry about going out to bid.
Right, so I finally get a chance to talk, thanks, but.
Your turn.
You got to break in, Ken. You know how JR is. You never can get
I
word.
apologize, I'm a little bit stopped up this morning, but when we came in a few years ago and did a managed network service for the entire courthouse, I think that excluded the court clerk and the district attorney just because of the fact their data networks have to be separate. So would be a few cables that we would need to run for the phones only in a future IP-based phone system. But for the most part, when we came in and did the managed network, we recabled all Cat6 to the offices for the networking, put in what we call power over Ethernet switches. And when we did this managed network, we did it with the intent that hopefully eventually it would go to an IP-based phone system. The Ethernet switches are now ready to sit there to power the phones, because an IP phone is going to require power somewhere to feed it, so that'll come from the switch that we've already installed. You're paying us a monthly fee for. And to answer the question that you just asked, I'm sure that we would be able to work out something where the managed network services contract and the hosted IP phone bill contract can all just be one big bundle. I don't really see that being a problem at all.
Only reason I brought that up is I know sometimes you have to go to bid, and the thing that we ran into in Arapahoe was when the commissioners put it in the newspaper that they were gonna be taking bids, there was no RFP, so there was 3 different people coming in, and there was so much difference in what these 3, and I hate to say it, but the commissioners were sitting there looking at each other when we left like, be glad when my turn's up, because I don't wanna sort through this, because what we thrown at you is a lot of acronyms and stuff that you do not understand.
Exactly.
Right.
What I've got out of this is that in 5 or 6 years, the phones may be the only thing left here, because we ain't gonna be able to do anything else.
And I'm kind of looking at a way that if you guys is really happy or satisfied and you just would rather stay with Pioneer, there's a possibility that you may be able to do an upgrade, additional add-on upgrade to your existing contract without having to run out there. Because if you don't, what you're gonna have to do is hire a firm to write you an RFP. That's usually anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 for them to come in and write up and it'll be ridiculous when they write it, believe me.
Yeah, because at Arapahoe, by the time we got through, their infrastructure was nowhere close to what yours is here. They were
One
going to
guy
have to
wanted to put a
completely do
system
what
in.
you already did.
We got one guy wanting to sell them a system without upgrading their network system, and he's gonna be doing nothing but service calls all the time, so.
So, you know, the gamut ranged from, like JR said, one guy that said, you know what, I already take care of your botched together phone system that you have to take care of the 2 floors. I'm suggesting you do nothing but just leave it the way it is. To, you know, the next guy didn't really want to recable anything, but he was going to provide a hosted phone system, but he wasn't going to provide the circuit. He was going to subcontract that out to AT&T, and he's going to subcontract this out and that out to us, who was going to come in and basically redo the entire building. So, you know, the differences that the commissioners were looking at was vast. You know, there wasn't anything across the board that said,
No
okay,
apples for apples.
no apples for apples, exactly.
No.
And the most physically time-consuming part of the job, as far as to combine all the networks together, or the departments together, we've already done here. So
Right.
you're gonna step up in that aspect.
Yep. And see, I'm from Woodward, so we've got a circuit in the courthouse now at Woodward, and I take care of all the phone systems in the courthouse in Woodward, but everybody's on a separate phone system just like they are here. And so that's the next thing Woodward needs to look at is they're using Plexar just like you guys are here, you know, to transfer calls back and forth. But originally they came in with a bunch of single line phones on their desk, and they had to remember star 25 pound blah 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 to transfer, you know, a call.
They're doing that now.
And you know, it wasn't easy to do. And so Woodward came back in, each department came back in and bought a phone system just so that each separate entity could answer their own calls and transfer calls within there. And the only time they use the Plexar is if the, you know, county clerk answers the call and it actually needs to go to the court clerk. Well, if you get your system-wide phone system throughout the courthouse, then you don't have to use that Plexar feature, you just transfer the call. And so that's kind of where the next thing, you know, will go. And so you guys are already a step ahead as well, because your entire courthouse is already on one network. Woodward's is just like what yours used to be. Everybody has a network, but they're all individual. We bring the fiber in, and then it splits out to multiple different networks. So you're in really good shape. But that'll be the next thing to come down the pipe for you. Will be.
Well, I think it's already a pretty good indication of which direction we're headed, since you've already got us, we were all.
Don't find it like I do, wouldn't you?
I mean, you know, I do appreciate your time and your informing, but I do wish you'd figure out a way to take care of these 911 issues.
Well, the best part of that, that's been turned over to Randy Mowdy, hasn't it?
Yeah, we need to go back and do a little bit more investigation on that, in my opinion.
Well,
I know I do
the
personally.
legislature is, I mean, this is gonna wreck us when we lose the landlines. It already, yeah, I mean, it's already a wreck. You know, and,
And the sad part is there's changes coming that most people don't even have a clue that's fixing to come down because of the technology.
Yeah.
We can't outrun the technology.
yeah,
Compared to
I mean,
what they got now.
Yeah.
we were just at meetings last last week on this very issue about the 911.
Are you guys going down to Norman? Y'all going to the Echo?
We will, next month, you mean in November?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good, we'll be seeing you down there. We actually joined ACO and leased a big booth down there this year. We're gonna start getting more and more involved with the counties.
very good. Well, I mean, but funding's, it's a legislative issue, I know, but this is, like I said,
Great. Any other questions? If not, I'll let Kent wrap everything up. I'll give him at least 30 seconds to wrap it up.
You're already, since you're already
got
done.
more
yeah.
for us?
Oh, one thing I might add to what JR said earlier about your managed network and when you have trouble, call us and we roll a truck. Most of the stuff that we do for Grant upstairs, he's the one that calls us.
Right.
We can do remotely. We remote into the firewall which we own and help him, because most of the changes that Grant makes have to do with the wireless passwords that he gives out to the landmen and things, so.
Well,
There's
and
not a whole lot that we do.
I'll put it this way, I've never heard very many complaints about that issue up there, so that's, if they're there, we're not here.
I have the old
That's a
style
good
card.
thing.
I don't have the new one. They're all-
Well, I might probably go upstairs and say hi to Grant while I'm here,
Okay.
because I haven't seen him in a while. And I'm sorry I forgot my folder laid on my desk with my business card on it, but JR or Chuck, either one.
The one thing you'll,
I'll be happy to write it down on something, and you guys can make a copy of it.
the one thing that you'll notice about our business cards that you don't notice about most other people is our cell phones are on there. So, you know, if you need to, that's always been, you know, well, who's our contact? Well, you know, when we were down at Arapahoe, the guy was like, well, our contact is in Tulsa, you know, and, I'm like, well, there's my cell phone right there on my card. You have trouble, you call me, you know.
Right.
So that's the important thing, and I think, you know, the court clerk and the DA, you know, their office, they both have my cards, they have trouble, they call, boom, you know, that's probably the best thing about Pioneer is the customer service.
Well, sometimes I can get you to the right people. I don't know who everybody is, but
So which one of you do I need to talk to about my personal deal?
I'm gonna take care of that and have somebody contact you.
Okay.
If they don't do it, I will do it myself.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Cell phone and my address on there.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you very much.
I was getting one out, and I saw you.
No,
There you go. We're already set up.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you all.
You too, thanks, Ken.
Call if you need
Thanks, guys.
anything. Appreciate your
Thank you all.
time.
hope we were somewhat informative.
Yeah, go get one of my cards. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, you muddied the water really well.
We're good at that sometimes.
You say Kent did.
All three of you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't talk enough to muddy the water.
Thank you.
You bet.
So, I know, Chuck, we've got at least,
Wipe everybody out. Nothing will, I mean, we are setting ourselves up for disaster.
I'm keeping that old 64.
Do I?
Let's go to
Okay,
Christmas light.
okay, which number is that?
Number,
Okay, we're gonna skip over to number 12 and let Julia get out of here. Discussion and possible action regarding Christmas light committee.
thank you.
I know this should take quite a while.
Sorry, honey, let you first. We should.
Sorry about that, I
That's
didn't.
okay, that's okay. I'm Julia Schrock, I'm with the Christmas Light Committee. We're just asking permission after probably November 1st to put the Christmas lights on the courthouse lawn, hang the wreaths from the poles. Beginning November 1st, they're gonna turn the lights on. I've been told December 5th at the, I guess there's a Christmas parade they're doing this year. And, then to allow us a little bit of time, we will have all the lights down and off the square by, January 15th.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it. I move that we accept that. Jeff, you good with it?
Absolutely.
Is that a second?
I
May
think
I
the other
ask?
Jeff.
I don't know if Jeff
Yeah.
Blackshaw is gonna do any lawn work, but we will have
That's
lots
why I
of,
was at-
lots of cords running on the lawn, so if he could have everything, you know, if he's gonna do
No,
anything
Hopefully, yeah.
before November 1st.
Yeah, that would probably be best. Okay. All right.
That's
We
second.
good?
Yeah, he's all set.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep, yep. Yep, yep.
you go.
About signing over.
And if you guys have any questions on the Pioneer deal, that's the 4th county meeting I've sat through that I've
Really?
heard that presentation.
Really?
Did it all?
And I'm not
sound the
any
same?
smarter because of it.
You ain't got it figured out.
I think that was just the warning of a storm.
And I think that's why they wanted to come was because
Right.
they said, you know, everybody needs to start getting prepared. And they're right. I mean, it's not that many years away when you think about it.
Well, on their behalf, they have came, like on their buried lines, and the legislature passed a deal on like these Okie calls and everything, and they have tried to be way more prepared. They're the only ones I've heard from about their buried lines and things like that, and they're trying to follow the rules the best
They do very good.
that,
Yes.
Helped us out a lot.
and it is nice that they're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and
Yes.
somewhat local, 90 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I hear, people in that country that have it, I don't hear any complaints, I've got a lot of relatives on Pioneer.
Mhm.
It will be interesting, there is a lawsuit down there brought by the county of Kingfisher against Pioneer
Really?
over this cell phone deal, over this phone
Oh, the
tariff.
phone tariff.
What they unhappy about?
Well, see, we found that AT&T has been deducting 2.5% from our phone tariffs.
For administrative bills.
And now Pioneer has been paying the full 15%. Now they've elected to start taking, well, yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah. You
statute
get
says
130
they can have 5%
bits
of the
every-
first 5%.
Does it have hurt?
AT&T's taking 2.5% of 15%.
That Felicia?
It doesn't
call?
equate to quite the
She can say
same.
it everywhere.
There's not a big variation, but it's still that.
Considerable, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the trouble of it is, it's all on the landlines. And if they're taking it off the 50 cents on cell phones, then it's gonna be substantial, and we got notified that they were gonna start. They weren't specific to the cell phones, but anyway, I don't know enough about that deal to.
So you guys are sort of watching the Kingfisher lawsuit to see how it goes.
Well, yes, I mean, I wasn't even aware of it till we were at that
Well,
911
yeah,
conference,
right.
and,
I did,
and so I don't know enough about it to, what it's actually over, but, you know, I thought it was really strange that was right there in Macomb County.
be interesting,
Better place to
county
start.
wins
Yeah.
that. If they win that, there'll be a lot of other counties follow suit.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, they probably won't have to if they win.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, if they get beat one place, they're gonna be beat everywhere, that'll set precedents, and, so. Okay, number 7, discussion and possible action regarding the surplus of P3 to 2015 max. You're up.
What do I say?
You want a surplus?
Surplus. Did we get any bids on?
Well, this is just a surplus of money.
Right. I think there is.
Okay.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
I wanna do that. I make the motion to surplus to 2015 Mack truck.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
If you don't get any bids, I'm sure you're gonna rescind that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, yes.
That's just proper chain of command.
That's the wrong one. See if I can find the right one here.
Number 8, discussion and possible action regarding the bid We're full of hunters.
Okay, Lynn Martin bid $6,500. I mean, $6,050. Sorry, I was trying to get a
Gotta
little
watch
extra
her
there.
fish.
I was trying to get a little extra. And that's the only bid we received this time.
Well, that's pretty simple too.
I'm good with that.
I am too.
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who do we make the check?
District 3.
Which one? I was thinking that.
In care of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy trails.
Yeah. Hope it's hard.
Get the thing off.
Thank you.
Oh, that runner just slowed down. I can't imagine what it'd be wrong.
And let you, since you're the chairman, sign this one.
Now send it on to her.
Okay, so tell me who did what. Cause see, I was still working on my paper.
Randy made a motion. I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. You'd think I could pay.
Aye.
Do that at the same time, but I can't.
Are you ready to roll?
Yep.
That's good.
Number 10, discussion and possible action regarding District 3 and truck bids, number 151603.
Okay.
Do we need to take any action on D3? The way that reads.
Where do we
I
start?
hadn't read it like
Where do
that,
we
but
start?
you're right, that's what it
I got broad shoulders.
Yeah, that didn't read, that didn't write that very good, did I? Sorry.
It's your golden opportunity.
Well, let's see.
I'm
What can we talk about here?
Fixed 500.
Okay, so, what do you wanna do? You wanna buy one each again?
Yeah,
Got the same
of the Pinnacle and just like I did
before?
before. Yeah,
One of each?
same deal.
All right.
That was from the bid 2 weeks ago.
Which one did you put the last year?
So, did you accept it 2 weeks ago or just accept?
Yes,
I'll see
this
that.
is
He's
just,
accepted it, but he's gonna buy 2 more off that same
Whatever
bid.
you told me, you and I talked
the
about it.
bid is due, I think 100
Yeah.
and 8,000, I mean, it'll say in there. But same price,
So
it's
two
just,
more,
With,
That's one.
for Enid Mac,
Mhm.
and it's 2 different ones, but they're both the same price. Where is that price? 108,255.
Yeah, they're the same price.
Yeah.
Little different truck, but same price.
they were same trucks, what we're getting at was the bid, was
That was last,
the
Yeah.
bid
these
amount.
are just like tied on, I did a bid.
Sorry.
Yeah, just a piggyback.
Yeah.
Right,
okay, that's all I need, you've already reported.
right.
Yes. Number 11, discussion and possible action regarding Form 120B for D3 truck leases.
finance them all, and then I can just,
Okay.
I can put,
Well, when you get that money, you just put it on there if you want.
yeah. I mean, that ain't gonna punish me for that, right?
Oh, no, it's all set up, that was in the bid, it's
No, I'm
just,
at the bank.
No,
no, I just didn't know if you'd decided, before we signed 120Bs for all of them, whether it was necessary or not. I didn't know which way you were leaning towards.
John, give me a look at that account.
Hmm?
Give me a look at that.
Yeah, I'll look at it real quick.
And you did get the opinion of the council, did your DA look over those?
Yes.
Okay.
I got it
Yeah, it's on
back.
the front page.
Mhm. Yep.
Sometimes that's a hard document to get,
Almost 72.
to get the DA to approve everything.
That's what it needs to be.
It's not so much as it's an issue, it's just,
Right.
they get to look at it.
Well,
Fit it
yeah,
in their schedule.
get time.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
I looked at, you know,
Where you wanna
see
do
Sometimes
what
the
it is.
finance
How much is it?
3 weeks.
Do what?
70-something thousand in there. I can pay for it.
Right at 72, what's the
I
cost?
can do 3 of them.
Well, I don't care how you do it, I mean, it's set up, it's set up where you can finance, the amortization schedule is for all 4 of them, or you can pay for all 4 of them. And we delete this, or you can pay for 3 or 1.
however you wanna do it.
You're just gonna have to determine the serial number on the ones you wanna finance.
Yeah, we can null and void those, and redo those, whatever you wanna do.
Well, I think there's 4 here, isn't there?
The cost
There
of
is
3
one.
of them
Or,
is what?
well, 108,
22,600.
Well, it'd be,
well, 2 of those in
18
there,
and 20, it's 20,000 each.
well, here's the deal, 2 of those in there reflect his trade. 2 of
Okay.
those do
Okay.
not. So you've got, you're financing very little. So if you choose to finance the other 2, you can take that money,
Right.
I'm gonna write you a check and apply it on there, and it would reduce all 4 of those down to about the same number,
Right.
which would have very little you're actually,
It's
Just the first
85,000
two.
for all 4 of them. You swap them for 20 for 3 of them, and that one was a 2013, and it was 25,000 difference. So it'd be 85,000 total to pay all 4 trucks off.
I wanna pay 3 of them off and finance one.
Which one? First one we come to here?
First one you come to.
okay?
Would that be fine?
I don't know why, I mean, I'm not legal advice by any stretch of
Well,
imagination, but I don't know why.
I
Can I do it like that, Shelley?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because the 2 weeks ago, or whenever we opened those,
Mhm.
you agreed to finance 2 of them.
Okay,
So I don't know if we
then
need
I'll
to
pay
go
2
ahead.
of them off then. I'll pay 2 of them off.
Yeah, but that'd be, you're right, cause he did the
Yeah.
finance too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way you purchased those first 2.
First 2.
I guess.
And
I wanna
then,
finance 2 of them.
okay,
Okay, so if we wanna pay 2 of them off, do we probably need to do a little research and find out which one, I mean,
I'll pay the 2 off that I got today.
Today.
okay.
Yeah,
What will
and
the payoff be on?
20,000. 88 to 108, or is it 20,000
See,
some
and I
change?
can't remember
It's
that
20
based upon, let me see that,
It's,
where are those
it's
bids?
108, 719 or something like that.
Was 88,000
it's
a flat bid?
Because I think it reflects in those.
I wanna say
it's a flat bid, so
22,000.
it's like, he needs
Roughly.
to.
I mean, was it
Yeah.
88,000 even, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So it's 20,700 and something
Yeah.
for today. But this motion is on the 120B, so we're just gonna do it on the 2 that you're financing. You bought these 2 outright, doesn't matter what they cost difference. These are the 2, you accepted the bid and the financing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
That I'm financing.
Yeah, and one of them would be for 25 and some change, and one of them for 20 and some change. But,
Yeah, 2 of the, or some of them were at 25,255, and some were at 20,255 was the balance.
okay,
That was what you were gonna finance.
okay.
These 2 are,
That-
But because those other 2, these last 2 that we just did and you just opened
Mhm.
as surplus,
Mhm.
I can't tell you what that payoff is on those,
right,
because I don't know. I'm assuming they're somewhere, they're either both gonna be at the 25 or both gonna be at the 20. I don't know which one that would be, because
They're at the 20,
they're both at that 20.
because that 20 was for $88,000 trade
315s and one 13.
And the 13 was the lesser of the trade value, so.
Okay, so yeah.
They were the ones that we done last couple of weeks.
Right, and so we need to find two amortization schedules, one for 15 and one for that.
13.
I'll give you that before I lose that.
Okay.
Sure did.
Here's one for 25,255.
This, okay, that's what it needs to start at.
And here's one for 20,255. So that's the two.
Those would be the two. This one is for the two today, which we are gonna need, because if he's gonna pay them.
Right.
Can we put those both on the same one, or those different?
That's
Nope,
all.
they're separate.
All four are separate?
No, I'm finding just three.
There's four
Oh,
right here.
oh, there's one there, okay.
Yeah.
No, there's two here.
Yeah, but they're copies, one for us, one for them.
Oh, okay.
Each one of these have two copies.
Okay, so these are the only two you need to
Finance.
approve. You need a motion to finance the 120Bs for the 13 and the 15 traded in 2 weeks ago.
I'll make the motion that we fill out the 120Bs for the trucks I traded in 2 weeks ago, the 2013 Mack and the 2015 Mack.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we need to figure, we'll need to figure the difference, because she'll have to do a purchase order today. Okay.
And I guess, do I need to go ahead and make those lease payments to pay this month? I don't know how that's set up. This month or next month?
It starts
Sure.
showing, paying in November.
11/19 is the first payment
So we'll have,
due
This month?
on this one.
Alright.
so do you want these two back, since,
I'll take those two back, and we'll just trash those,
okay.
or see what I'm supposed to do, shred them or whatever. Believe me, somebody, I'll take these back, let them look over, make sure I always have to check on the documents, make sure I didn't miss a dollar or cross a T or.
As long as it's leaning my way, that's fine.
Okay. There's 2 or 3 places for all 3 of us to sign in there, and 2 or 3 for just you to sign, John.
And the 15 first two that were
Okay.
traded. And then this is the one for the other two.
And there'll be no more action taken on the 2 you bought today, because that was just, right, right,
Right.
That's what I kind of like that,
yeah.
because I wasn't sure. So I picked the 13 and the 15 that was done last.
Well, he bid them all with financing provided and as a lease purchase, but it's his option to pay them all.
Yeah, because we put a payment option or a cash outright option, either one.
Oh, yeah.
That one needs to go back for that. I don't know what that is.
Oh, this is a.
I'm gonna make a note of that.
That was probably no employee, because that's got too many places on it. I guess we could mark 2 of them out and have you all initial it or something, maybe? I don't know.
It's very good. You want to mark out, oh, well, I don't know. We'll have to look and see which one,
Which ones you're actually
which ones,
signing.
yes. With the VIN number.
What do you need,
Give me the 2 VIN numbers.
the last or the?
Yeah.
Wait a
last-
minute, I'll get,
The last 4 or 5 numbers will be enough.
25482.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's one we're keeping, okay?
okay, and
25481. So the top 2, I've marked those on.
You did what you were supposed to do, you got it. Okay, now I'm gonna mark out these.
Here's Shelley.
Well, it doesn't matter, she approved all of them, we want to sign two of them, so.
There's
Yeah.
that.
I haven't been confused by this afternoon. Give me something to do when I take this stack back. When are you gonna have your drivers out? When do you wanna have those radios out?
I can have them bring them trucks to you tomorrow.
You wanna do that, we'll have that on ready for them as well.
Okay. That's what we plan on doing in the morning.
Okay? Yeah, if you wanna bring them over, we'll have
Oh,
everything ready
okay,
for them
you
just like
ready.
that.
I don't
Get
know.
them out. All right,
Thanks, sir.
appreciate you all.
Thank you, Jeff. You.
Make it as painless
Have a safe
as
trip
possible.
home.
Appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your week.
Clicker, ticket,
That's a tough
Yeah.
call.
55, stay alive.
That's right. See y'all.
see you.
Okay, number 13, discussion of possible action regarding the sheriff's monthly reports.
Get it in.
Yep. Not a minute. Could open that up.
Got a motion to lay and pay bills?
I will move.
All right, I got a second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
You second it, or you make the motion?
However shall I write it down?
I put the he motion. you
Okay,
said.
that's what I was fixing to put in.
Okay, number 14 is discussion possible action regarding OPH and W interlocal government agreement. And this is the insurance deal that we went over last week, Lynn, and it all appeared to be very good. We've contacted the retirees, and the input back so far has been all positive. Some of them had a few questions, but in the end, it worked out for everybody. We found it's a better deal, and we're gonna kind of hold off. We've got copies here, stuff that we've sent in. We haven't exactly heard back from everybody, and we are negotiating with them still. That is one of the beauties of this deal. They've told us, and one of the reasons we're gonna hold up and not take any action on this today, we were told on the phone that they were gonna reduce the retirees' rates, monthly rates, down to what the employees' rates are for us that we pay, and we're negotiating a deal on the employees' families. So that's still in the works.
Still negotiating.
Yes.
But right now, it looks,
We haven't found any flaws in it. Everything appears to be as good or better than what we currently have for quite a little bit. I will make one note. And I don't remember the year in '08 or '09, this company came and gave us this same presentation. And I'm not throwing any stones at anybody. I liked it then. Everybody was a little bit skeptical. Change is hard. coming into December, and so we need to do something if we're going to one way or another. That's the reason I said table it. We just, if there's any more input or anything, we're gonna give it another week before we make a decision. It is a major decision for everybody, and I want everybody to, if there are any problems out there, we want to research.
Yeah, we need to get all the information we
Yeah.
get.
Okay, Foster, your report on emergency management and safety director.
Emergency management. Been to one class this month, had a mass fatality class in Clinton, down through that, that was interesting. Got any problems up here, we know what to do. Safety, we need to have a class on your guys, on flagging and how to set up zones to keep people, make sure our guys stay safe and stay legal. So if something happens, we don't get sued for not having the right setup out there for your detours. If you're building a bridge or making a detour around something, and you don't have one truck set out 5 cones and the guy's nice lighting outfit on, if one of our people driving down the road hits us, and we don't want us to get, we couldn't see the flag, and we get sued, we're.
You should have been on 500 the other day. About daylight.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Went through 6 flaggers and I jumped out in front of the lady and said, stop. I'm late. I said, you should have got up earlier.
I know.
That was a little flash off.
It's terrible.
Oh,
So anyway, but that's our next meeting, is that if you guys like, having a CED or a VOTEC, and I think probably some other counties want to come in, we're gonna have that class up here. And I think it would
Probably.
be very beneficial.
Might mention that at our safety meetings that you come to in our shops or something.
I mean, take a day off and everybody come to a class and we all sit down and say, okay, guys, this is what we need to be doing, how we're supposed to be doing it, and be safe out there.
I think that'd be good, and I think we could also have it at the fairgrounds, if multiple counties wanna
Right.
come and.
And we could actually set a workshop
Yeah,
up.
the guy, I think, the guy from Stillwater, El Tap,
Right.
actually, I was talking to down at the safety conference at ACO last month, and he said he would gladly come up here